priority overall is to keep reaching as many people as we can with the great content that we're making on all of our platforms, and to strengthen the already very strong connection that ABC Radio has with its audiences, but also to keep focusing on where those audiences are going and what platforms we need to be on and in what forms to keep reaching them. So there are lots of, we've been in a disrupted media industry for a long time. As soon as the internet came along, the media industry became disrupted, and now there are so many different ways that people can listen to things. Not just streaming, and we know that people are really coming to streaming at the ABC through the ABC Listen app. Smart speakers, there's the rise of the connected car in Australia, which is a really massive thing for us to think about, given that people listening to radio in cars has been, for a very long time, a way in which people relate to radio content and how they consume radio content. If in a connected car, when you have so many other options, you can listen to your phone, you can listen to streaming, you can listen to Spotify, you can, already have a podcast ready and loaded to go as soon as you get into the car. How do we do that? And so all of those things we have to think about. And while that it really isn't business as usual on any one day, if you like, of ABC Radio. And so we have to look to the future, but at the same time, invest in our talent, support our people who are great storytellers and who absolutely know how to tell stories that get to the hearts and minds of their audience, and to support them in their work engaging audiences every day. Sort of, if you like, ABC Radio is every day for everyone, and focusing on that, focusing on the everyone. Who do we want to reach? Where are they? Who are the audiences we're not reaching, and how might we do that?
You said it's not a time of business as usual. That's so true, and you've explained that really well. One of the things that's not business as usual in the old way of the ABC is that you're not just head of radio anymore. You're head of the local services, and someone else has other radio services. Can you explain how that works?
Yes, so the restructure was about moving away from platforms, and platforms that had been set, if you like, in the old world, television and radio. Whereas, as I've just said, we know people now are consuming screen content and audio content in so many different ways, and also are wanting to get text content about that content that they're hearing and seeing. And so the reorganisation was more about genres, and so I'm now in charge of what's called regional and local, but that is about regional and local content, and it includes television content, it includes Grandstand, it includes all of the regional radio stations, but also the bureau, so also those newsrooms, and all of the regional digital output. So it also, in television, it includes all of the live events that bring Australians together. And if you think about local, a lot of people just think local refers to sort of geographical locality, if you like. So local means your street or your suburb. But in fact, local can mean so many different things. Yes, there can be the hyperlocal. So you can have a story in Dubbo, which is about Dubbo itself and what's going on in the council there. And that is really important to that local community of Dubbo to know that something has gone wrong and it's going to affect them. And it then allows that community to come back in through the radio to share their stories with each other. If you like, radio is one of the best user-generated content platforms that we've actually got, because we can get stories from the community and expand them, and people can share through that way. But then those people in Dubbo on a Friday night can look forward to sitting down and turning on Gardening Australia, where they are connecting to their local community of gardeners, and they're feeling that they have something in common with a garden that's being profiled, in Kingston in South Australia or in the centre of Melbourne. and they might be learning things from somebody who's got an inner city garden in Richmond, say, and feeling as though they understand that person and that they are part of that community. And
So
then
communities of interest.
Yes, communities of interest. And as well, you've got, then they might watch Backroads then on a Monday night and absolutely relate to somebody from the other side of the country who's able to tell their story. And so that's part of feeling part of the community of being an Australian, part of that Australian community. So there are so many different levels of local. I think what we do in regional and local is tell those stories which are about people's lives, that connect people. We've actually invested quite a bit in regional journalism, in our regional bureaus, and in the tools as well that help them tell those stories better over the past couple of years. And that project was called Connecting Communities, and that really says what we do through all of those aspects of regional and local. And our big events that we cover, like Australian of the Year and New Year's Eve and Anzac Day, also do that. They bring Australia together around a shared concern, a shared celebration, a shared moment where everybody feels what it's like to be part of that great community that is Australia. And in terms of our, the old radio division, yes, did have Radio National and also the music networks in it. They're now in a division which has more of a national focus, which is entertainment and specialist. And Radio National, with its specialist coverage, there are so many specialist great broadcasters who are experts in their field, are sitting in there so that the science units in radio and television were brought together, experts together, to be able to tell stories to the whole audience and to also think about the story itself. So Catalyst now won't just be thinking about, okay, we'll tell this story on our Catalyst episode. They will be working with the radio team who will be also feeding into that expertise in the program, but also taking themes from there and playing them out in the radio coverage so that we are telling those important stories across different audiences, but in the ways that are absolutely suited to the platforms that those audiences are on. And so in specialists, you've also got religion, society and culture, and arts. And as well, the music networks are now still under Chris Scadden, who used to be in the radio division. And they, as well, are looking to screen projects that they can do. So that's expanding the audiences of things like Triple J, Double J, and Classic FM.